In Xanadu did Kubla Khan a stately pleasure dome decree, where Alph, the sacred river, ran, through caverns measureless to man, down to a sunless sea. The River Alph, the sacred River Alph of these alphabet tags, has reached X. X for Xanadu, where Kubla Khan decreed his stately pleasure dome. Kubla Khan, grandson of the famous Genghis Khan. X. This one's going to be tricky. Hello, my name is Jim. Welcome to my booktube channel about books and reading and stuff. Now we're at X. This will be the X tag. X, if you look in the dictionary, an English dictionary, there are fewer words beginning with X than any other letter of the alphabet, so this could be a little tricky. X is for xylophone. What's your ringtone? This is mine. X is for X-Files. Do you remember X-Files? Are you a Mulder or a Scully? Mulder believed in extraterrestrials and the paranormal. Scully was a lot more skeptical and wanted evidence. X is for Xenomorph. Who is your favourite alien? These are some aliens from Doctor Who. Actually, Doctor Who is probably my favourite alien. With these alphabet tags, maybe I should like Alf. I do like Mork from Mork and Mindy, but this is probably because of the personality of Robin Williams. And I do like the Xenomorphs in Alien. They're very imaginatively created with their acid blood. X is for Malcolm X. I'm sure Steve Donoghue's read it, but have you read it? If you're not Steve Donoghue, I read it. It was interesting. It got me thinking about things like the English language and how inherently racist the English language is, where words connected with white are good, white magic is good, words connected with black are bad, black magic is evil, a black witch is evil, a white witch does good magic, whatever good is. We talk about pure as the driven snow, and we've got lots of words like the black market, blackguard, and in other languages as well, like in French, travailleur au noir is illegal working. It's a fascinating book. Malcolm X was a fascinating man. He chose to have the surname X rather than Little, because Little was a slave name that was given to one of his ancestors. It was the family that owned one of his ancestors, and as he didn't know his original African name, he decided instead of having a surname he'd just have X. So this is why he is Malcolm X. An interesting aside about Malcolm X, the book, the short story actually I've just read, These Alien Skies by C.T. Ruizi, a writer from Zimbabwe. In this, space crew from the African diaspora land and start colonizing a new planet which they call Malcolm XB, and they hope that it will just be for people of the African diaspora because they don't want any of the evils from European colonialism that afflicted Africa. X is for Xmas or Christmas. What's your favourite Christmas reading? Mine is probably the typical Christmas Carol. I'm sure you're familiar with Christmas Carol and the character of Scrooge, who thinks Christmas is a load of nonsense, humbug he calls it, and then he's shown the error of his ways by these three ghosts who visit him, the ghost of Christmas past, the ghost of Christmas present, and the ghost of Christmas yet to be. What's your favourite Christmas book or Christmas reading? X is for X-Ray Spex, 1970s punk band from England. Who is your favourite punk band? I like a lot of punk bands. I like X-Ray Spex, of course, Germ-Free Adolescence, is a great punk anthem. There's also Sex Pistols. I like the Australian band X and Celibate Rifles. The Ramones, I saw the Ramones in Brixton. But I think my favourite punk band would be The Clash. Before I did these individual letter alphabet tags, I did an alphabet tag, yes to Z tag. I can link to that here. And for X, I chose X is for Xenocide, and here is the clip. Not many words begin with X in English. We have xylophone, we have X-ray. A lot of people thought with S to Z I'd have trouble with X. For X I've got Xenocide. Is there a book dealing with Xenocide that interests you? I read Speak of the Dead. This was a sequel to Ender's Game. I read it in the late 80s. It was about the Xenocide of an alien race, a formic race. Xenos is from the Greek word meaning stranger, or alien, or guest. X is for X certificate. In the UK, the X certificate was for films where minors were not allowed to see the film. You had to be 18 or over to see the film. This is now obsolete. Now they have 18 certificate. This is Fight Club's an 18 certificate. If you want to see it in the cinema in England, you have to be 18 or over to see it. What was the first adult film you saw? A film that wasn't available for children? For me, this would be American Werewolf in London. It did have an X certificate. This was 1982. This was the last year the X certificate was in vogue, in force in UK. With books, there are no such restrictions. A child or teenager can go into a bookstore and he could buy 50 Shades of Grey or American Psycho or Lolita with no restrictions. There may be some local restrictions, but there's no legal restrictions on what a child or a teenager can buy from a bookshop. What was the first book you read that you felt wasn't suitable for children? For me, this would be The Great Railway Bazaar. This was given to me by my parents as a gift when I was about 11 or 12. It's by Paul Theroux and it's about his travels by train through Asia. But when he gets to Thailand, he meets a ladyboy and it's quite explicit what he describes. I think my parents would have been mortified if they'd known the content of the book they'd given me as a present, because they just thought it was this big train journey. X marks the spot. In your reading, has there been any treasure hidden below an X? For me, I found this in The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. The treasure in the cave had the mark of a cross above it. X is for X-Men. Do you have a favourite character from the X-Men? I wanted to be cool and choose a different character, but I think, in all honesty, I'd have to choose Logan, the Wolverine. I think he's most people's favourite X-Men character. X is for xylopyrography. This is the art of burning images onto wood. Do you have any examples of this? I don't, but from what I see, some of these images, some of these pieces of art look very beautiful. X is for xenophobia, fear of the stranger, often used to denote racism. Have you been shocked by some of the xenophobia you found in your reading? Again, with Mark Twain, Adventures of Tom Sawyer, the villain in this is the character Indian Joe. Mark Twain didn't like Indians at all, Native Americans, and he sees the character of Indian Joe as his hapless half-breed, and that his evil comes from his Indian blood. X is for X Factor. Do you have a hidden talent? I can juggle. I can juggle. And this There's a XJ6, a Jaguar XJ6. This model is made by Scullys in West Germany. Who do I tag? I don't know any channels beginning with X, particularly booktube channels. There are a few with X's in their names, like Emily Fox and Codex Cantina and Genevieve Leroux. But these are very big channels. I don't think they'll be interested in doing this X tag. If you wish to do the X tag, please feel free. It's open to anybody. So, that was the X tag. The sacred River Alph runs on to the next letter. If you like this video, you can like and subscribe below, and I will see you on the next video. Bye bye. Do you want a kiss?